All right, Pioneer fans, welcome into the post-game press conference here with the victorious head coach of the Pioneers, Coach Mike Kellar. Coach, first off, congratulations on the victory over Fairmont State in the battle for the bit, 22-15. Talk a little bit about this game.
Well, it was a big win for us, coming off the beating we got last week at West Liberty to come back at home is beautiful. I mean, I can't say enough about the Gilmer County people and the setup we had here. I mean, I was here at 10 o'clock this morning. There was people out there, and then I went home, came back, and then when I got back, they were really cranking it up. So, you got to take the hats off to our defense. I mean, they played great tonight, and we tried to play to them. We tried to do our best to at least keep the ball. Anytime you win 22-15, your defense scores twice, and with pressure, and of course Dom in the game that he had. I mean, it goes off to them, and I'm an offensive guy. I'm kind of run the offense here, obviously, and I'll take every game the rest of my life like that if our defense was to play that great.
Yeah, you kind of hit on it. You look at the stat sheet, and some might say, "Oh, look at this, look at that." But again, the only stat that matters is what's on that scoreboard. A big takeaway: Pioneers, the defense, 5 interceptions on the game. Delonte Hood with 2, and Dominic Cizauskas with 2, and then housed them both. And then Austin Stoney getting the play a little bit there in the second half there with coming down with an interception. Talk a little bit about the defense.
Big play. I've been getting those stat sheets after games for 26 years, and I always take them and throw them in and try it. And a couple of years we were like high in the country in offense, but the only thing that matters is that scoreboard. And when you get your program to think that way, then you're off and running. The stats really don't matter. We've had great games, bad games. Dom, I mean, I was telling my wife, coached a few guys that are still in the NFL at Cal on defense, and I don't think I've ever saw a better defensive performance by one kid than what he had tonight. And he wasn't the Lone Ranger. I mean, Hood, the entire D-line putting pressure on the quarterback. Will Mace, I mean, my gosh, what a great game he had. And our safeties, Tata's out probably, or actually for the year, and we had a couple young kids go in there and step up. And Coach Adams and the defensive staff, I mean, the job they did, and they work at it every week. In the games where it hasn't worked well, they've been working at it, and they just, we just keep telling our coaches and players, let's keep chopping wood, and tonight it paid off, and now our challenge is to put it together for another 6 weeks.
And one other stat line I want to look at, because it's a pretty big stat line. The Falcons, they were penalized 9 times for 88 yards. You guys only had 4 penalties for 30. Well, talk a little bit about that discipline and how that kind of paved the way to pull out this victory.
You hope it does. You tell your team and you tell yourself and you believe with all your heart that if you play a clean game, if you don't turn it over, if you play smart, if you play clean, if you don't hurt yourself, you usually win. And we always use the examples of the Spurs in the NFL, or in the NBA, and obviously the Patriots are the biggest example of that in the NFL. But we made 2 really critical errors. The interception in the end zone, and then the 2-point play. And don't think at the end of the game I wasn't having that 2 points in my head going, man, if we had 1 and they had 2 less, this thing would be over right now. But Tim's he's a sophomore, but he's basically a freshman up there playing, and the kid made plays for us. When he threw the interception in the end zone, I told him, I said, we wouldn't have been down there without you. Let's just live and learn from that, and come back next week and keep shooting, and he will, But I was proud that we played a clean game, and it goes to show that our coaches are coaching it, and most importantly, they're buying in and doing their end of it.
Awesome, Coach. Well, again, congratulations on the 22-15 victory over Fairmont State. I'm here with the player of the game, Dominic Cizauskas. Dom, first off, before we get into the stat line, congratulations, 22-15 victory over Fairmont State. Talk a little bit about this win.
I mean, great win overall, team win. I mean, we came together, a great week of practice, and finally we just played together. I mean, defensive-wise, we all played as a unit, all excited. Offensive-wise, we kept picking each other up. Special teams executed. I mean, 2 field goals, huge, and we just kept the thing rolling. So, great win, and we're ready to get back to work next week.
For you personally, I know the defense, you guys came in with 5 interceptions on the night. Great defensive performance. You yourself finished with 11 tackles, fumble recovery, 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns. Talk a little bit about your performance and kind of your preparation going into this week and facing off against Fairmont.
I mean, we knew they were going to go with the deep ball, and our coach was telling us all week, the shots are coming, they're throwing it deep, so be prepared to run with the guys vertical, and they're going to throw 50-50 balls. And Hood, had 2 interceptions, and he jumped up there and picked 2 of them, which is, huge for him. And he had a great week of practice as well, preparing. And for me personally, we were watching film all week, prepared for what they were going to do, and I just came out there and executed what the coaches called. So,
once again, you guys, defensively, you guys looking at the stat sheet, some might say, how did we come out on top? But again, defensively, 5 turnovers. They finished the game with 352 rushing yards. But talk a little bit about, Coach Adams and the scheme and kind of what went into this week's preparation.
Yeah, scheme-wise was great. I mean, we knew we had to stop the run. I mean, I think they averaged 200 yards of rushing a game, which, I mean, they were number 4 in the country offense. So we knew we had to stop the run, but also we had to stop the pass. I mean, and once you stop the run, they're going to try to go to the pass. And once those interceptions, they kind of stopped the pass. So we went to try to stop the run, and they kept getting outside, and they were hurrying up. So I think some guys got gassed, and I'll admit it, I was a little tired as well, but we just buckled down and got to stop when we needed it. So.
Hey, when you have 2 interceptions and return for touchdowns, you're allowed to be a little bit tired. So, all right, well, Pioneer fans, that's going to do it for Dom. Once again, the Pioneers are victorious, 22-15 over Fairmont State. They return next week on the road at Urbana, 1 o'clock kickoff, October 12th, next Saturday. Again, player of the game, Dominic Cizauskas, finishes with 11 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, and a fumble recovery. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you next week.